Hello, I'm Barbara Holding from Canine HS, and we are one of the leading training providers in canine hydrotherapy. We're all qualified veterinary physiotherapists who specialise in this particular area of practice, and we have been inundated this week with queries: how are we going to close down our water in our aquatic treadmill and in our pool through into the other suite? So this is what we want to share. We've taken some really specialist advice, someone who's been in the industry for 24 years, knows all about maintaining and installations of pools and aquatic treadmills, and I want to share what we're going to do with you. We've deep cleaned the room, we've cleaned out the treadmill. The most important thing is to remember to have ventilation. Air out your centre thoroughly so everything dries as much as it can before you close down. So the last bit of water in the treadmill, lots of people have been asking us, how do we deal with that? Well, we've got this wet to dry hoover, brilliant product, and that's, we're going to literally suck out the very last bit of the water. It's going to make a noise. So another really important top tip to help you is make sure before you leave your building you close your treadmill doors. You close them properly, just in case for any reason when you're not here, we've got an issue with the water rising in your treadmill. So we're just going to shut this one here. We're going to lower down our platform and shut the other one. So we've closed both doors of the treadmill. We've got our ventilation open fully, airing the room. We've deep cleaned. But the big question is, do we leave the water in the tank or do we drain it off? Come and have a look at our plant room. We are definitely leaving the water in our tank, which is outside, all insulated, and we've got chlorine in it, and we'll chat about that in a bit. It's a little noisy in here, come in. There's our heater down there. It's a backup electric heater, but we actually use air source heating outside. We're going to turn that off. Now come outside, we're going to have a look where we turn off our air source. So our aquatic treadmill water tank is outside the building, and it is housed in a really highly insulated shed as well. What I'm going to do is check the water. We're now going to set our chlorine tablet in our chlorinator, wear your PPE, come out and have a look. We place that in the water, put the lid on. That's floating in there, pushing the lid on, securing the lid, and then we're going to cover up and put our insulated roof on top. So I'll come back and finish that off in a moment, but come and have a little look at where we turn off the air source. So we're keeping the filtration on 24/7, but we're going to run the water cold. So this is our air source heat pump. It's brilliant, saves us lots of money, but we're going to actually turn that off here as well. So the idea is we're going to run our filtration system in our aquatic treadmill, keep the water in, keep it sanitized, keep it safe. And it's so important because if you drain that water out, you're going to put your pumps under a lot of duress. They are not made, they're made to run 24/7, they are not made to be dry. And we know definitely if you have a problem with draining the water, whether it's your pool or treadmill, those pumps cost a lot to replace. So I'm going to keep my water filtrated, but I'm going to keep it cold. So we've turned the air source off, and it's really important to put the cover that it comes with over it to protect it, because this is all off now. Okay, so we're going to make sure that we run our water. We're going to keep the filtration on, but the water is cold. It's going to be negligible cost, but it's going to keep the running of those motors inside that are really expensive to replace. They're built to run 24/7. They don't do well to be dried out. Loads of people who drain pools, drain aquatic treadmills, when they come to turn the pumps on, have huge problems with noise and inefficient action. So that's what we've been advised to do, and that's what we're going to do for this shutdown period. But the other thing I've been inundated with questions is, what are we going to do with our hydro pool? The most important thing is thinking long term as well as in the short term. So come and have a look what we're up to. hydro pool. So we have a small hydro pool. Whether it's large or small, we are definitely keeping the water in it. So come and have a look at the room. We have deep cleaned the room. We've followed our biosecurity and our infection control policy. We've got the windows open, so we've got lots of ventilation. We want to dry this whole area out completely before we shut down and leave the building. This, don't forget, is incredibly important. Your shower heads, your dehumidifier racks, get them out. You've got the chemicals, make sure you clean those. So when we leave those and we don't use them for a while, we know they are very dangerous for legionnaires and other bacteria for growing. So this has all been chemicalized as well. So we've done our pool chemistry, we've done our water testing. Shut that for the moment. Put on your PPE. Don't get over familiar with these dangerous chemicals. They work for a reason. We know exactly how many chlorine tablets to put in our floating chlorinator. I'm going to put that into the water. We are not draining our pool, and I'm going to explain why. It's so important. Then we've got our blue cover on the water, and we're going to put our Celotex cover on top. And this is about keeping the humidity down, keeping this room as dry as we can. It's going to be a bit noisy. Come and have a look at our plant room, and this is where it's so important to understand why you should not drain your pool. You want to have filtrated water, but it can be cold water. But keep the filtration on. The running costs are negligible, but the motor is really expensive to repair. And we know if you drain your pool down, you can have real compromise, first of all, with your water level table. So this is half in, half out. The structure of this pool is designed to have water in it. Bit noisy, come in here and have a look at our plants. There's our motor. It's quite a few £100s to replace. It works 24/7 and is used to being used with water through it. If it dries out, you can have tremendous problems with noise issues and efficiency issues when you restart in 12 weeks, 14 weeks, whenever we get back into practice. Good hint, we have different coloured gloves for different practitioners. Really important if you're putting your hands inside the glove now. You've got to think of your hand washing, and you've got to think about, you've got PPE per personnel. So I'll just shut the door. And the last tip I wanted to share with you is a really important one, is your disinfectant that you use. We've got a plunger that measures it out, and we follow the exact instructions which we have laminated, which are really useful. How to use it, dilution amount, and really important that people forget about is the contact time. You need that on the surfaces to kill all that bacteria. If you're going to use a product like this, these are products where you crush them and mix them. Again, check your contact time because they all vary with different products. That's a really top tip. And of course, we all know WHO, fantastic instructions you can download and laminate. Put them everywhere you want people to be washing their hands. So the most important thing, last night, our Prime Minister of the UK said stay at home. Support our NHS and stay safe. We want to save lives. So shutting down your clinic isn't just about putting the key in the door and walking out. It's complicated. We've got big bodies of water. If you've got a really large body of water, if you've got a swimming pool type size pool rather than a hydro pool, it costs a huge amount to reheat, it costs a huge amount to refill time-wise and money-wise. So keep your water in, but turn the heating off and run cold water refiltration. It's absolutely the most efficient way to get back into practice quickly. So the biggest message from all of us is I hope these tips have helped you. Stay safe and be connected. Keep in touch with your professional associations for guidance. This has all come back with research from the specialists. I hope it's helped you. This is what we're doing at Canine HS.